the new code. I'm Karina Stewart. I am a soul wealth coach, and I help you to tap into your soul's frequency so that you can create wealth in your life, make a powerful difference. And this show is particularly for those that are heart-centered entrepreneurs, heart-centered leaders, light workers, energy workers, healers that are really ready to embody their wealth and make an incredible difference in the world. So I'm really excited today to talk about what I hear a lot, which is so many of you are keeping your wealth containers really, really, really tiny. And you know, there was this first a short little story. During my I run a program called the Wealth Consciousness Academy, and on one of the days we do an exercise and we're out on a beach and I give everyone buckets, and we had it was really funny because my assistant ordered the buckets, and the last time they came and they were these tiny little buckets, like I don't even know, like little buckets and little shelves like that maybe little elves and fairies would use, but they were really tiny. And I said to my assistant after we laughed quite a bit about it, I said, I'm sure we'll discover what the meaning of these buckets are. And while I was teaching this particular activity to my clients and doing the activation with it, I realized the meaning of it, which was that most of us think of ourselves as being capable of creating a pretty limited amount of wealth, which is crazy because the truth is you are an infinite being that is made of wealth. You are wealth, you are money. And this is part of what the new wealth consciousness is. To embody wealth consciousness is to come into the awareness and the knowing that you are money and that you are the wealth. So I want you to think about, you know, what is your current level of belief and thinking about what's possible? Let's just say this week. How much money do you think that you could create this week? And just put that in the chat right here. Is it $100, $1,000, $100,000, $1 million? You know, what's your current level of thinking? And I can guarantee you, whatever that is, you're putting yourself in a limited bucket or a limited container of money. Just think of that sand toy, that sand bucket. And so how do you open yourself up to imagining the bucket can be even bigger? Well, first realize that whatever number you put down, whatever amount you think is possible for you to create this week is coming from a number of assumptions that you're making. Those assumptions are about, one, your ability to create it and your belief about yourself and what's possible. It might be, you know, external factors that you're looking at and thinking, you know, I don't have time this week to make a lot of money. I don't have time, or it could be thinking, I don't have clarity right now on my purpose. I don't know, you know, exactly what my offer, right? It's all this thinking around factors that are not ready or not perfect, that the conditions aren't ready. So that's a huge, huge assumption that all the time I hear people making that all limits how big your bucket of wealth could be this week. So here's the truth about that, to bust that myth, which is none of that matters. None of it. You are money. You are money. Putting offers out there and into the world isn't about having it all figured out. It is actually by following, and I taught this on a webinar last week, which is actually about following an instinct, because it comes from this instinct of the part of you that is the money. And that instinct, we can also call it intuition, is showing you the way to the money, is showing you how to create it. Now, does it happen where then you have that thought and then your head comes in and you start trying to like overplan it, over control it, over perfect it? That's gonna get in the way of that bucket. So now just imagine, right? And just close your eyes if it helps you. Just imagine that your bucket is as large as you can even imagine the universe to be. Imagine that. Imagine that the bucket's nowhere near, you know, the capability of $1,000 or $1 million or $1 billion or $1 zillion. You know, it is actually infinitesimally abundant. That is the possibility. So I want you to go that far, far out into the universe, to the edges of the universe. Just imagine as if you could reach the edges of the universe and see a very big sand bucket that is that big. And then I want you to imagine that there is a golden sun that is pouring right into the center of that bucket and just starting to fill your bucket with gold. It's your pot of gold. Okay? And I want you to put that bucket into your heart and breathe in and out with it now. And I hope by that very quick exercise and visualization that we did that you're able to see where you've been limiting your conception, your belief about what's possible. Here's what's crazy to me is that how many of you are not believing, or you're forgetting your infinite nature. You're forgetting just how powerful you are. You can call the power of the universe if you will let yourself. But you must get out of your own way of thinking and believing that only a certain outcome is possible. This isn't about what's realistic. This isn't about what's practical. None of that actually matters. None of that is real or true. It's only real or true if you are choosing it to be so. So what if this week you actually doubled, at least double the number that you put down in the chat here? So if you put 1,000 down, put double, it's 2,000. If you said 10,000, make it 20,000. Because I want you to stretch yourself, to open up your mindset to believing in more of your possibility, believing in more of your power, believing in more of the fact that you are the money. Every ounce of you is the money. Every part of you is light. It is simply different densities of light. Money is light. Money as light is in your service. So these little hits you get, these instincts to carry through on something is showing you the way to that doubling and even tripling or quadrupling the money this week. So play the game of money. It is like playing Monopoly in a way, but it's, you know, it's even better than that because we live in a universe that's an ever increasing abundant universe. One of the natural universal laws of life is increase. Even when there is an apparent decrease, that is an illusion. Okay, because that decrease is actually to create an even bigger increase than existed before. And when you become as organic as the whole of the universe is, as you become a part of that natural design, no longer are you playing by the rules of this small, limited bucket of wealth that your mind created out of conditions that are outside of you. Now you've actually busted the edges of that small bucket and you've created this massive, massive container. Because not only are you the money, but you are all of the infinite possibilities of all that is possible. You. Now, not everyone will create that. And the reason for it is that there's this thinking that happens about your belief about what's possible. I notice that far too many of you get caught up, though, on analyzing that thinking or trying to remove it. It's not about overcoming it. It's actually about replacing the limited container and the limited thinking with a whole new system of money, which is wealth consciousness. So this week, consider opening yourself up to this idea that your container is as large as the whole of the universe. I'll never forget when Jesse Itzler, who's a billionaire, he's created coconut, Zico, the Zoconut coconut water company, sold it to Coca-Cola, created one of the world's first private jet companies, a global jet company for billionaires and millionaires. And he continues to make millions and billions in these businesses. I'll never forget when I got to get coaching from him, and I said I wanted to create $1 million in my business next year, I said. And he said to me, when I hear that, I think, how can I create $1 million in one day? That was an eye-opener to me. I was playing too small. So that's what I want to be for you today, which is an eye-opener. Whatever number you've put down for this week, it is possible for you to double it and even triple it. It is all about your mindset about what you can do. Now, this won't happen just through magic. It does take a lot of effort. It does take a lot of action. It is a requirement to put yourself out there in a new way, to go after it, to follow, you know, the steps after the steps after the steps, because what got you here is not what's going to get you to where you want to go, to that next level wealth. You will become a whole new version of yourself. That's a must. It's a requirement. You also will actually fall in love with that experience, because not only will it create more wealth for you, it will also show you what you're capable of. Now, I did end up creating $1 million in a year after that conversation with Jesse Itzler. It happened. But it was that mindset where he opened me up into realizing and seeing that I was thinking like this very small-minded person, and thinking that I was going to create my wealth in the same way that I had created multiple six figures. That is not true. And each step that you climb to the next, to the next, to the next level, which is part of your spiritual awakening as well, because the two go hand in hand. Next level wealth comes with spiritual awakening and discovery, more and more discovery of what you're capable of and who you actually are. And so realize the thinking that got you here, that put down that first original number, isn't who you're going to be on the other side of the doubling of that number. And so take yourself on this week. If you really want that number to show up for you, whether it's 10,000 or 20,000, this week, make it the week that you say, okay, I am ready to ride this in a new way than I've ever done it before. I'm ready to blow my own mind to step into my next level of wealth. It will require effort. It'll require investment. It will require you to do things that scare you. It just will. But you will also know that it's your next level, it's your next evolution, and that you actually created it. You know, yesterday was Mother's Day, and I had this incredible day with my family going up to the rainforest here. We found a new waterfall trail. I couldn't believe we've lived here for 2.5 years and we've never found it. It's literally just 20 minutes from my house, and it's magnificent. And I was swimming in, you know, this pool underneath a waterfall with my kids, like, you know, climbing up the rocks. And I saw their courage, because they really had to climb some really steep places, even holding onto a rope at one point. They were rock climbing, you know, I mean, 3 and 4, and they were doing these magnificent things because we were showing them that they could do it and there was nothing to be afraid of. And what I thought about at the end of that day, you know, I was so grateful for the opportunity and the experience that I got to have, and just all the love and just beauty that I'm surrounded by. But what I realized at the end of that day, that this happened, you know, getting to live this kind of life that I live because I chose it. And so if you're unhappy with the conditions of your life right now, and you're making excuses and you're putting limits on your wealth, realize that you have the power to change it. And that power is with you right now. And it starts with you opening yourself up to a much bigger level of wealth, a much bigger vision of what you're capable of creating in just this 1 week. All right, and I'll just put this out there. If you want support on that, if you want support on how to make that happen, I do still have some spaces left in this day-long VIP day that I'm doing called Manifest Your Wealth in 1 Day. And it's all day, and it's coming up this Wednesday. You are required to spend the day with me. Not a bad idea. But if this does speak to you because you're ready to double your income this week and double, you know, what is possible, and get help, because I can help you with that, and I can help you with the steps and make it happen in 1 day, then what I'll do is I'll throw up the link here so that you can apply for that. I'm only taking 10 spots. And, you know, it's amazing what happens. Just last week, I did just a 2-hour-long VIP day with 3 clients on that call. And one person got a client on the break, on the 10-minute break. Another person who I have done a personal VIP day, she's already created $50,000 in just a few short weeks. What's amazing is she actually started that in a small group VIP, just like I'm doing this Wednesday. So perfect opportunity to step in and, you know, make that commitment and like invest in the direction that you want to be going this week. All right, you guys, I'll put the link in here. Can't wait to check out what you create and how you're opening up your container for more wealth.